Today I want to take a few minutes to talk about analytical writing. Analytical writing is when you are making an argument about something in a piece of literature. So we're not doing a book report, we are not summarizing anymore. Instead, you're assuming that your reader has read the book, so they don't need to be told the story. Instead, now you're taking an element of the story and you're making an argument about it. So you could be arguing something about a symbol, a character, setting, maybe a theme. There's a huge array of different topics you can be arguing. Now, one of the things you have to make sure of when you're doing analytical writing is that you address the prompt properly. This is crucial, especially for standardized testing, like your AP tests and your ACT. Because for these tests, if you don't address the prompt precisely, you can actually end up getting a 0, even though you have a beautifully written essay. So, for the sake of example, I'm going to be using a prompt from To Kill a Mockingbird. And the prompt is, every parent-child relationship is different, even within the same family. What effect does a parent have on his children? All right, so what I need to really look at here is the fact that the prompt is asking me to address the effect the parent has on the children. It doesn't want me to describe the relationship between the parent and the child. It doesn't want me to give stories about their relationship. Instead, I need to make an argument of the effect that the parent has on the children. So for our purposes, I am going to be using Atticus and his effect on Scout and Jem. So I am going to argue that Atticus, through his lessons, teaches the children empathy. So my topic sentence is, through various lessons, Atticus teaches his children empathy. It's pretty simplistic, but it's not a well-done statement because I'm arguing specifically that it's because of these lessons that Atticus teaches empathy, which is the effect he has on his kids. So my first support is going to be Scout. And the example I have here is, not considering that Miss Caroline is new to Maycomb and teaching, Scout was offended by Miss Caroline's actions the first day until her father intervened. Now, if I left this simply as this part, it would be plot. I'd just be saying Scout was offended by Miss Caroline's actions. It's the second part, this element about Atticus, that's tying it back to the thesis and making it argumentative. Until her father intervened, Scout was offended. So let's go ahead and develop this more. Atticus's sage advice to put herself in Miss Caroline's shoes helps Scout to better understand Miss Caroline's actions and leads to Scout being more accepting of the teacher's decisions. Okay, so here it's Atticus taught the empathy, and as a result, Scout was. But I want to go further than that because that's just an isolated incident. And like I said, we want to develop this even further to prove that he has a lasting effect on his children. So going on, I say, Scout later applies this same lesson when she courageously talks to Mr. Cunningham, who at the time was threatening Atticus's life. Through her empathy, Scout makes Mr. Cunningham empathize for Atticus and his family, resulting in the mob leaving. So here, the Scout later applies this same lesson. This is the transition from my first example to my second. Then, the second statement is the application. It's through the empathy, Scout then empathizes for Mr. Cunningham, who then empathizes for Atticus, resulting in the mob leaving. So it's really this pay it forward type idea. My second example, my second support for my paragraph is going to be Jem. And I have to make sure I have a transition between my first support and my second. You want to make sure that there's some sort of connecting idea. Otherwise, it just reads really choppy. So my second support is Atticus also teaches Jem empathy when he forces him to read to Miss Dubois. Okay, my transition word is also. To develop this, I'm going to say after destroying Miss Dubois' flowers, Atticus gives Jem a consequence that not only serves as punishment, but also as a lesson in empathy. Now, if I just left this as after destroying Miss Dubois' flowers, Atticus gives Jem a consequence, again, that would be plot. It's the second part of it. It's the fact that it's not only serving as punishment, but also an empathy that ties it back to the thesis. And yes, the gold and blue, green is for my Packer fans out there. See, I don't judge. All right. Going even further into this development, by reading to Miss Dubois every day, Jem witnesses firsthand the effects of Miss Dubois' rehab. Although he doesn't understand her pain while she was alive, being exposed to Miss Dubois' suffering on a daily basis makes him better understand and empathize with her after Atticus informs him of the determination to die free of morphine. So again, here we have this application. It's tying everything back to the topic sentence so that the argument is clear. So when you are writing your chart out for Lord of the Flies, for the conch shell and the glasses, make sure you're not just summarizing what they are being used for or when they're being used. You need to tie it back to your argument. So you need to argue what they symbolize and then prove it. So again, it's just like in a courtroom. You need to have evidence to support your argument.